Everyone wants to find the next Austin or the next Boulder before the hedge funds show up with their spreadsheets and ruin the vibe. But what if the signals were already hiding in plain sight and you've been walking past them every single day? We're talking about markets where median home prices jumped 30, 40, sometimes 60% in under 5 years places. Nobody was watching until suddenly everyone was. The scary part isn't that investors got there first. It's that the clues were always there, waving their arms like a student who actually did the reading. Think of it like a weather system. College towns and tech suburbs don't just appear, they build pressure slowly before the storm hits. A university announces a new engineering program. A mid-sized company relocates its R&D division. And somewhere, a Whole Foods files a permit. And that's basically the opening credits of gentrification. The optimism cycle is almost embarrassingly predictable in hindsight. 5 years ago, people were calling remote work a temporary blip. And now entire zip codes in places like Boise and Huntsville are basically Silicon Valley with better barbecue. Here's what's fascinating though. Even seasoned investors get caught flat-footed because they're chasing the last hot market instead of reading the next one. Robert Shiller himself noted that housing markets are driven as much by narrative as by fundamentals, and narratives have zip codes before Zillow does. The misconception people make is assuming you need insider information or a Bloomberg terminal to spot these emerging pockets. What you actually need is to notice when a city starts producing more patents than parking tickets, or when the coffee shop to car dealership ratio begins to shift. Here's your actual framework. Look for universities with growing STEM enrollment. Follow the expansion announcements of mid-tier tech employers, and cross-reference with areas where rental vacancy rates are quietly dropping below 5%. Those three signals together are basically the bat signal for the next sleeper market. History backs this up hard. Raleigh was a footnote in 1995, and by 2015, it was everyone's case study. The pattern of academic infrastructure leading economic transformation has repeated itself from Ann Arbor to Tempe to Provo, and it will keep repeating because human capital clusters, just like any other resource. Now let's be real about the psychological trap here, because it's a juicy one. You find a promising city, you get excited, you start telling your friends, and by the time it hits a Forbes listicle, you've already missed the first and fattest part of the curve. The discipline is in acting before conviction is comfortable, which sounds insane, but is basically the entire game. Sizing your position appropriately so that being early doesn't break you, and being patient enough to let the thesis mature is what separates the investor from the speculator. Don't overload one market or one asset class. Spread modest exposure across 2 or 3 emerging corridors and let the data update your thesis quarterly. Unemotional strategy isn't cold. It's actually the most optimistic thing you can do because it means you trust the process more than your feelings on any given Tuesday. Philosophically, the investor who wins in emerging markets isn't the one who's the smartest in the room. It's the one who stays in the room longest without doing something irrational. Discipline, position size, and consistency are the 3 most boring sentences in finance, and also the 3 most profitable ones. Whether the next college town pops in 5 months or 5 years, being rationally prepared means you're comfortable with either outcome because your exposure was never reckless to begin with. That's not pessimism, that's the quiet confidence of someone who actually has a plan. The real edge isn't secret data. It's systematic attention paid consistently over time while everyone else is distracted by whatever market is already on the front page. You're not trying to be a genius, you're just trying to be one chapter ahead of the crowd. And if you want help finding those emerging markets, structuring deals, or connecting with the right lenders to move when the moment comes, check out our links in the description below. Whether it's real estate investing, home contracting work, or finding lenders, we can help you get started.